Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're going.
If you thought the audio from Nolan Wells' boat incident was the most jarring piece of evidence in this case, wait until you hear these latest developments. Nolan's mother is currently being caught in one contradiction after another, and it's raising serious suspicions.
So his mom got on TV, as everybody has seen, and said that she didn't know me. And man, that can't be farther from the truth.
Why would she deny knowing Nolan's close friend, someone who virtually lived at their house, after also claiming she received no communication from the other boys' families, despite screenshots proving they reached out? Furthermore, why did she list herself as the sole heir in Nolan's legal petition? Under Mississippi law, if an unmarried child dies without offspring, both surviving parents are equal heirs with a 50-50 split. Erasing the father entirely from a sworn legal document has led many observers to question her true motives. Meanwhile, the family has served aggressive court subpoenas to Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, and Life360. They are demanding everything: chat logs, deleted snaps, location histories, IP addresses, archived usernames, and hidden media. Their rationale? They believe crucial data was wiped from Nolan's phone on the 4th of July. At the same time, new statements from Nolan's inner circle are emerging, and Warren Hudson's father, whose son was on the boat, has offered a $50,000 reward for actionable information. The deeper we dig, the more convoluted this case becomes. Let's break down the latest facts. Key updates include a 4 p.m. emergency audio recording from the day of the incident when the boat carrying Nolan's friends contacted Cito, claiming they were taking on water. Listeners insist that in the background of that distress call, voices can be heard frantically yelling, "Nolan, wake the F up! Is he dead?" and "Nolan, don't die." This is critical because the friends previously maintained that Nolan was never on the vessel when it encountered trouble, claiming he refused to board and remained on Horn Island around 6 p.m. If Nolan was left behind on the beach, why were they desperately shouting his name on the water? Additionally, passengers on the boat asserted that Nolan chose to stay on Horn Island with a girl named Katie. However, Katie, both directly to investigators and through her sister, denied staying behind with him, stating she assumed he had departed on the boat with his friends. The timelines directly contradict each other. Then there is the autopsy report. Nolan was recovered face down at the water's edge, yet the official autopsy diagram documents severe deep tissue trauma and hemorrhaging on the back of his scalp. How does an individual found face down sustain isolated, heavy impact trauma to the back of the head without any corresponding injuries to the neck or back? Was this foul play or an accidental strike? The distress call itself raises further doubts. The operator claimed the vessel was sinking in 30 to 31 feet of water, yet official records show that shortly after calling Cito, the operator canceled the request, claiming the issue was resolved. Subsequent timeline analysis reveals the boat made multiple trips between local docks and Fort Bayou later that evening, leaving investigators to question whether the boat was ever truly in danger or if the distress call served as a deliberate diversion. Furthermore, despite claims that dead zones rendered communication impossible, the caller maintained clear cellular reception offshore. Looking at these elements combined, it becomes obvious why the public suspects a cover-up. However, one individual pushing back against these theories is commentator Brandon Tatum. First, Tatum argues there is sufficient witness testimony establishing that Nolan was not on the boat when it departed Horn Island. He states he personally interviewed 4 of the passengers, who claimed Nolan left his phone on the boat, that no one accessed it, and that no one possessed his passcode. Tatum also addressed a widely circulated photo of Nolan and his friends, which was presented online as having been taken the day of the incident. By analyzing the photo's original metadata, Tatum demonstrated that the image was actually taken a week earlier, on June 27th at 11:58 p.m. Additionally, video footage from around 4:30 p.m. on July 4th shows the boat attempting to start near Horn Island. 7 individuals are visible on board, and Nolan is clearly not among them, a detail Tatum uses to support the defense. He also had audio engineers analyze both the original broadcast audio and the enhanced clip, concluding that the alleged background phrases regarding Nolan being dead do not actually exist in the recording. Tatum acknowledged that cellular reception on Horn Island was weak, roughly 1 to 2 bars, explaining the lack of real-time social media uploads, though he confirmed the other boys had media saved locally to their devices. While that leaves the absence of data on Nolan's phone unexplained, Tatum provided call logs from passenger Warren's phone to refute claims that the boys failed to notify anyone. The logs show Warren called Nolan's mother, Christine, at 11:07 p.m. After an initial brief connection, he called back and spoke with her for 5 minutes. Within 2 minutes of hanging up, Warren dialed the U.S. Coast Guard at 11:13 p.m. to report Nolan missing. Regarding Christine's claim that she never heard from the boys' families after they retained counsel, Tatum presented a screenshot of a text message sent on July 7th from Ashley Cole, a stepmother of one of the boys, directly to Christine, offering her contact details and asking to speak. This raises the central question: did Nolan's mother intentionally misrepresent the facts, or was she simply overwhelmed by tragedy? Another figure challenging the mother's narrative is Nolan's close friend, Tristan Shepard. Tristan publicly refuted her statement that she didn't know him, detailing a close friendship that began in 9th grade math class. He described Nolan as his best friend, someone who offered him life advice, supported his athletic pursuits abroad, and called him on the 4th of July. Tristan clarified that he frequently spent time at Nolan's house, drove him to school, left his car parked there for days, and traveled with him. Tristan also rejected the media narrative framed by attorney Benjamin Crump, suggesting Nolan was the sole black youth in an all-white social circle. He clarified that their friend group is multiracial, consisting of himself, who is black/multiracial, an Asian friend, and a Mexican friend. He emphasized that Ocean Springs is a tight-knit community focused on personal character rather than race, calling attempts to racialize the tragedy absurd. Tristan explained he arrived on a separate vessel with 14 people to help with equipment, and recalled his final interaction with Nolan just before leaving the island.
But the last time I saw Nolan, I was walking to the boat. This was before the fight. It's me and my old lady. We had just got out of a group of people. Nolan was walking towards Wyatt's boat. I was walking in the opposite direction towards my boat. And I dabbed Nolan up. I made a slick comment about something. Actually about the girl that he was with. I made a slick comment to him, us joking around, and I kept going. And not even 10 minutes after that is when I got into a fight.
While Tristan didn't specify the exact timestamp of that farewell, the public is left asking, why did Nolan's mother portray these friends as complete strangers? The other friends have expressed profound grief and fear following public backlash, revealing they were afraid to attend Nolan's funeral or navigate their hometown due to threats. They maintained that if Nolan were alive, he would be appalled by how external activists and his family have targeted his friends without concrete proof. Yet, critical questions linger. How do we account for the deleted content on Nolan's phone? Does this suggest third-party involvement rather than the friends? And if Nolan left his phone on the boat, how could an outside party have modified its contents? Regarding the probate filings in Jackson County where Christine designated herself as sole heir and omitted Nolan's father, legal experts note it is common practice for families to select one parent as lead administrator for procedural efficiency. However, given the surrounding controversy, observers wonder if this points to internal family friction or ulterior motives. From Christine Wansley's perspective as a grieving mother, the timeline and actions of those present that day contain glaring irregularities that contradict everything she knew about her son. Conversely, the friends maintain that what appears to be a cover-up is merely a series of tragic misunderstandings and circumstantial coincidences. Warren asserted that no one wiped Nolan's phone because no one knew his passcode, adding that leaving phones behind on the boat is standard practice when swimming. With forensic subpoenas now issued, hard digital evidence and official autopsy findings will ultimately determine which account holds up. Still, critics argue that responsible friends would never leave an intoxicated 18-year-old stranded on an island without securing his transportation or personal belongings, especially his phone. Was the mother's denial of knowing the boys an accurate reflection of her household's reality, or a deliberate attempt to reshape the narrative under extreme stress? And if forensic audits confirm the phone data was manually erased rather than auto-deleted, would that definitively prove a cover-up to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.